Hello and welcome to Switched News. This is our first Switched On news piece. It's a quick update on the Switch sales. We've had a few updates over the last month, but more success stories coming out from Switch. We got sales numbers from the US, sales numbers from Japan, total sales numbers reached so far, and sales targets numbers for the upcoming fiscal year. Let's start with the first big one, which we already highlighted, was 10 million units sold.
Yep.
That was in 9 months, just under 10 months.
Yep.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's good.
No?
It's good.
It's good. No, well, it's just need outsold the Wii U in like 10 months compared to what the Wii U did in 6 years, which is pretty impressive. And then it leads us to the next big stat. So it's outsold the Wii U's lifetime sales in Japan.
Mm.
So Japan to Japan comparison. It's also the fastest selling console in a year in Japan. Well, technically 10 months measurements, outdone PS2 back in the day. So it's done about 200 more thousand units than what the PS2 did. I think on 3.2 for the Switch and just under 3.1 I think for the PS2. So that was really big. That's the most latest one. And prior to that, there was a little bit of a news article that was going around, which I'm sure you read, which is the US sales. So it's outdone the Wii's success in its first year. So the Wii topped out around about 4 million and switched on 4.8 million in its first year. It was just phenomenal, incredible. It's really successful. It's running away with it. Question is now, can it keep the momentum going into 2018? So Nintendo thinks it's going to be a big number. They reckon they're going to clear 16 million units before the close of the fiscal year.
Wouldn't surprise me. They've already got 10.
Well,
possibly more.
They keep upping that number. They have got to have more than 10. So if you just put the US and the Japanese sales together, you're at 8 million. I think the rest of the world just
Europe
combined too, right? Yeah, Europe's a bit of a funny one because it's hard to get the sales figures as a whole region. But we, just from our face value, at human level eye tests, we can see human level eye tests. It's very weird, but from our social circle, it's phenomenally popular.
It is very, very big. Our social circle. We're only
all two of our friends.
Two of our friends on the old Wii U.
Me and you, there we go. Yeah. Well, the Wii U had that. For me, I was single digit friend list on Wii U. Be lucky if I crossed that.
Exactly.
Everyone skipped it. Most people I know skipped it, and those that didn't were diehard and
just wanted it at the end. Well, I got it at the end, so just to see what it was like. I wanted to buy it, but for the money cost at the time, I wasn't seeing its value. Especially having the Xbox and the PS3 at the same time.
You bought it second hand as well, didn't you? Right?
Yeah.
So you don't contribute to the total units sold, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I think that's like part of the story behind the Wii. They're a very small part, but I mean, you consider Switch had such constrained stock in its first year. It was lucky to walk in and buy a console for the first 6 months.
They were. But it shows you how popular that console really is.
Yeah, but it still reached those numbers as well. That's how popular it is. And if you compare it fairly so to the Wii U rather than the Wii, I mean, it's night and day. It's going to outsell the Wii U in 1 year.
It's such a hard console to compare because it's the first hybrid we got. And it's the only console that can be docked and taken away, so you're kind of filling the space in two markets.
Exactly, yeah. That's a really good point.
And that's what I think has contributed to sales. So you've got the 3DS, great console, but graphics are very outdated now. You could tell that.
It was outdated when it came out, arguably, right? I mean, the Vita came out pretty much like 6 months later, or however many it was.
The problem is the Vita was good, but didn't have a level of support at the start, and that's what the same thing the Wii U suffered with. So you're in a scenarios, whereas Nintendo, the first thing they do with Switch, put one of the heaviest hitters on there, and they knew that they were going to throw Mario later on, which is probably their biggest selling.
I think the failures are just very contrasting though between, say, the Vita and the Wii U. The Vita is like the typical Betamax sort of story, where you've got a better piece of technology.
Yeah,
that is pretty much better in every single way, except it's too expensive and it doesn't have to support.
Yes.
And that's like the Vita. Whereas the Wii U is like HD DVD. Like, man, what are you trying to do? You have to get an extension for your Xbox 360 and just to get the drive to run discs. And,
true.
It's cumbersome, and that's kind of Wii U in a nutshell, really.
It is. It's just imagine if Nintendo had the PS Vita with their games line up, what would they look like?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think it proves that we're both like graphics fanatics. We love our high-end PCs, if you like.
Or me, because we can't afford the 1080 Ti's.
Well, yeah. We're not quite enthusiast level, but yeah, we're not going for the Titan V, but not that it's built for gaming. But my point is,
I think that card's more expensive than both of our PCs put together, and probably most of
every
our
single
consoles
console I've got put in
out, and mine as well.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the point of question. I think is the 3DS proves that graphics isn't everything.
No, but Nintendo just know how to work with what they got. As simple as fact as that. And I think with the sales will increase as we get more developers on and they get the bigger carts. So they get the 64 gig carts. Once they have the 64 gig carts, you can start putting on some really big games.
That was the other news article, I suppose, we should be chucking there, is the apparent delay in the 64 gigabyte carts. That's why we're seeing multiplayer components being downloaded for Doom, because you can't fit it all into one cartridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe when the 64 gigabyte carts come out, we get like Final Fantasy 15 ported and other games. Maybe they're waiting on that. And there's like an embargo on it. So yeah. But that's a quick news segment for the week. Bit of a ramble there, but stay tuned.
Stay switched on. Hello, welcome to this week's Switched On. This is our first news podcast for 2000. Right.
Keep going, man.
Okay. I nearly had it as well.
Right, my turn. Okay.
Go for it.
Blah, blah, blah. You go again.
Okay. Well, we're going to get
we're
there.
at practice, man. Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Hello. This is Switched On News. Our first news.
I'm going to go with you where you're going now.
Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?